Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 17 of the Greatest Attorney to Resolve. Last time, we did some more investigating. We went back to Shamspeare's apartment / flat, and basically we used Sherlock's skin prints, not handprint, detecting fluid to determine that basically some areas in the flat were touched. And now let's check out Wasagi. Yes, meow, Wasagi. Stretch for us. Stretch for us with your kitty cat nature. That was a cheeky little meow, Wakahai.
Oh, but he's so adorable. I could sit and watch him forever.
I think he may not appreciate that after a while, and we have an investigation to get back to. And with that, let's head out of this room, shall we? We're gonna basically move out. We are going to head over to Briar Road. Let's see what Briar Road has to offer us. 22nd February, Briar Road. Okay, anything new? We investigate that. Oh, it's so nice to basically see that I'm not missing anything. It's such a delight, just such a delight to see that things are actually listed as being checked. Okay, so let's head over to the Garrideb's room. 22nd February, Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's room.
Mr. Garrideb appears to be out.
Oh well, I suppose we'll just have to come back again later. We have new dialogue! We probably shouldn't poke around in here whilst Mr. Garrideb is out. Aw, no fun! Come on, Ryanosuke. Why can't we have any dialogue? Okay, prison. The last area that we haven't checked out yet. 22nd of February, local prison, cell 9.
Oh, Mr. Natsume's back.
So he is. Mr. Natsume, hello! I am a cat! Okay, are we gonna get the bongo drums out? Is this gonna turn into one of those poetry slams? I am the cat, cause they treat me like a rat! So please, give me a hat, so that way I can get out of prison! I don't know any more rhymes! Sorry? I don't know who Mr. Natsume is, or Herlock Sholmes! I don't know about courts and trials or Old Baileys! I am a cat, and that's what I am! I'm just a cat!
Mr. Naruto, he's trying to escape from reality. Mr. Ryanosuke, hurry! He's having a mental breakdown! He's gonna go insane!
And then Vanzix, he walks by that cell. He just shakes his head. He just shakes his head. So this is what the activities that the Nipponese engage in when I'm not around. Interesting. And then basically, Vanzix pulls up a chair and pulls out his notepad. This would make a great addition to my radio podcast. Trying to? He already has, completely. So, what is your name then? As yet, I have no name.
Mr. Naruto, he hasn't fully thought out his new identity yet. Maybe it's not too late to bring him back to reality.
Do you think you could open your eyes to us, Mr. Natsume? I am not a cat.
It worked. He's back in the real world.
What's going to become of me? Oh, no! Don't answer that! It's obvious! My accursed soul is never going to escape this accursed fate!
Mr. Natsume, no! This morning's proceedings in court prove that there's hope!
Yes! Look of suit, Mr. Naru, Esquire was brilliant, but what about after the trial, when the prosecutor threw rocks at me and proceeded to insult me? He said I was sleazy, and that he was going to bring me on as a guest on his radio show, and I have awful feelings about it, considering that he was glaring at me. The Reapers are present in court in my lodgings over there as he yells insult at me. I am not insulting you, you slow-witted Nipponese. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to drink from my hollow chalice some more while I watch you have a mental breakdown. Here, there, everywhere!
What's he looking straight at me for?
You have become the Reaper, and he has become you! You are fused with him!
I think perhaps there's some things we should discuss.
Oh, yes, yes we must.
Let's discuss then. Converse. Actually, no, let's present. Some soap. We gotta say soap. Mr. Natsume, what do you know about this soap?
Ah, that is! That leathery lowlife that took my neighbor's life and sent me sliding into the depths of despair! Slippery, slickly, sickly, psychotic saboteur!
You're really gone off soap, haven't you?
Absolutely! And I made my mind! The next time someone gives me soap as a present, it's friendship finished firmly forever!
I don't know that we can blame soap for everything that's happened, Mr. Natsume. The gas box. Let's present the gas mirror. Mr. Natsume. It's nothing much, but...
Ah! It's been too long since I've been offered a present with that delightfully humble etiquette of our homeland!
What?
You're too kind! I accept it gladly!
Sorry, but I wasn't trying to give it to you, actually. Okay, Converse. This morning's trial. And I forgot to turn the timer on.
In my whole life have I ever been so moved as I was today! No! Of course, if I cast my mind back, there were perhaps one or two occasions that moved me more. But if I just blocked those out, today, being in that courtroom was it was the most moving experience of my life! Oh, come soon, Mr. Naruto, Esquire!
You're too kind. Scotland Yard found the remaining tea just as we deduced and are analyzing as we speak.
There's nothing wrong with that tea! They won't find a drop of poison in it! That's a sworn, Soseki certainty!
Tell me, did you both drink the tea at the same time that night?
Oh yes, most definitely! Remember, drink tea while it's hot! We both poured it down our throats like it was a hot bath for our bellies!
And at that time, you were both completely fine. As shown by the fact that he and Mr. Shamspeare then engaged in the Romeo and Juliet match. I suppose the focus of tomorrow's trying proceedings will be how the poison was taken by the victim then. Shamspeare.
That rotten Shamspeare! What have I ever done to him?
You don't recall him taking issue with you over anything you've done recently?
I've been holed up in my room, immersed in books! I don't really recall anything at all!
Right.
But what I don't understand is why he didn't let me know sooner!
Let you know what, Mr. Natsume?
About the soap, of course! What else?
Oh dear. Are you struggling with such a meager stipend?
Of course I am! If I had money! I would have to choose to live in an accursed existence in such an accursed lodgings!
Oh yes, you said it's because the place is cursed that it's so cheap, didn't you?
Exactly! Especially that room I rent! The spirit of the capital offender who lived there still haunts the place! And it tried to kill me!
Capital offender?
Might I ask, welcome to Mr. New Esquire, that the next time you visit me, you bring calls of super soft soap!
And end the friendship? Okay, let's present that article. Yes.
What's this?
It's a newspaper cutting that we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
Ah, so he knew, did he?
Sorry?
About the man, Selden. A convicted killer and the evil spirit behind the curse that afflicts my lodgings.
What?
He's already taken one young man's life, and now he's trying to take the life of another, a miserable mustachioed, much maligned Japanese man.
Mr. Natsume, if you know something, please, you must tell us. Tell us everything you can about this evil spirit. Capital offender.
The truth is, I didn't know the details myself until very recently. That Selden was a man arrested about about a year ago now. And at the time, he was hiding out in lodgings at Mr. Garrideb's house. Mr. Garrideb was getting a cut of the pay of the loot.
What, he lived where you do now?
That's right, yes, exactly where I live now, in my very room.
Oh my! Your room was previously occupied by a criminal found guilty of a capital offense?
But before his sentence could be carried out, he died in prison. That was 3 months ago now. And that's when it started, the curse.
What really is this curse you keep mentioning, Mr. Natsume?
It's already caused one death. A few months after the criminal passed away in prison, a man died in the room. The man who rented it after Selden, in fact. The poor lodger, he was found dead in mysterious circumstances. The room was locked from the inside.
Locked on the inside? Exactly like the case we're dealing with now. So that's the convict's curse, is it?
Yes, well, that was the start of it.
The convict's curse. Do you have any idea how the lodger before you passed away, Mr. Natsume?
The official cause of death was asphyxia. When they discovered the body, the room was full of gas.
Gas?
I only found that out after I had signed the lease. When Mr. Garrideb came to tell me later, I couldn't stop myself trembling. In fact, if I had known beforehand, I'd probably have been too scared to take the room. Landlord's lease, luckily legal!
Lucky for Mr. Garrideb, maybe, but not so lucky for poor Mr. Natsume. And now you believe the curse is affecting you?
It is! At first, I just felt as though I was being watched all the time.
And then you talked about having nightmares, didn't you?
The dead are trying to take me with them. They come for me and try to suffocate me.
Yeah, but if you die, then you'll be a ghost too, and then it'll be fair game. You can fight them.
Just when I'm struggling to breathe, I wake up, and the room is as cold as ice.
But why is your room so cold?
London winters are too cold to bear without heating it on overnight. But for some reason, even though I light the stove before I climb into bed at night, the pilot light always goes out and the room fills with gas.
But that's terrible. That's exactly the same situation as what led to the previous occupant's death. And then there's what happened to Mr. Shamspeare last night, when he was mysteriously poisoned. There's clearly more to that incident than can be explained by a curse, though. Whatever can be the cause of all these strange happenings in Mr. Garrideb's rooms. Okay. We talked to him. Let's see if Garrideb is back. Yep, sure enough. We did our investigation. Nice. Things are actually moving along pretty smoothly. Ah, you're here now, Mr. Garrideb. Right bally business as is for me, you know. Getting out and about. Were you at the Old Bailey by any chance? Naturally, fate of my lodgings hangs in the balance and all. Not a trial to miss. The fate of what's already been dubbed your haunted lodgings, yes. Of course, the place has caused quite a stir around the capital on more than one occasion already. As the old haunted lodgings or some such. Ah, well, at least he knows. Makes you wonder what the blazes is going on, don't you know? Yes, I'm sure it does. In fact, thinking back to Mr. Natsume's other trial just 2 days ago, you were at the Old Bailey then as well, weren't you? Testifying with your wife about what happened, trying to get Mr. Natsume thrown into prison. Trying to get him killed. Stopped off at the prison on the way home, in fact. Beastly business. Yes, he had to fight his wife. His wife was trying to get him.
I will destroy you from behind these bars!
Ha! You can't bend metal! And then basically she just tears the bars. She just rips them open.
Oh no, guard!
So, what brings you to my haunted abode today, eh? Okay, anything new? Okay, nothing. A whole world of nothing. Converse. Your lodgings. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap of questionable character, eh? Yes, the house does seem to have become something of a magnet for rum fellows of late. Thanks to that bully curse. The convict's curse, you mean? Ah, heard the stories, have you? Ron Scoundrel was arrested here. Then the next chap in the room goes and keels over. Then there was someone who dropped dead just outside on the street, not to mention the actor yesterday. Am I next, eh? No, you're already cursed. Selden, he was contemplating taking you down, but then he saw your life with your wife, and then he just felt that it would be more fitting it would be more of a punishment to let you live. Well, can't help but get the collywobbles, can ya? When you say the woman who dropped dead outside on the street, do you mean Miss Green? Because Miss Green, who was stabbed by the knife, and Mr. Shamspeare, who was poisoned last night, are both very much alive still. Yes, well, so is that blasted convict's curse, it seems. Personally, I should be quite content with such lodgings. A bath, a toilet, a fireplace, a fascinating history. Why, it sounds like the lap of luxury. And if the ghost tries to get me, Iris will come in out of nowhere and will suck it up in the Ghostbusters Proto Pack. Yeah, Selden comes out of nowhere. I'm going to get you, Holmes. Ha! You felt... Ha! Now I activate my trap card, Iris, and then Iris comes out from the bathroom. Time to take me for Holmesy story. Iris just fires to the Provac and just brings Selden in. Now I'm going to make you into a ghostwriter. You will write for Iris, and you will expand our empire. I'm not so sure about that. Well, there's no bath or toilet included, and no fireplace either. But you do look out for your tenants, don't you? By watching the rise and fall of the flames in your gas lamps up there? Yes, never hurts to keep an eye on things. In case there are any mishaps or such like. In case I need to buy a shovel. Don't you mean a spade? Hey, Mr. Naruto! Focus! He likes shovels, he's on my side. I think you've had your mishap already, sir! That's not helpful, Mr. Sholmes. Heaven forgive me, the words just came to my lips. Your lodgers. Some fishy fellow from the Far East and a failed actor chap with questionable character, eh? There's no need for that, Mr. Garrideb. That's right. Mr. Natsume is in no way fishy. He's sketchy, but he's not fishy. He is undeniably peculiar, however. Is that right? Is it right that he took the vacancy immediately after the previous tenant passed away? Yes, Sorry. Get my voices mixed up. Yes, that's right. I asked the estate agent to find someone, and he popped up the very same day. Never come across a chap so keen for a place with a background, as it were. I don't think it was the ruse background he was keen on, so much as the cheap rent, actually. So, how long has Mr. Shamspeare been lodging under your roof, and how long has CzarThwomp been flubbing up lines? I'm not Samuki, after all. That failed actor chap? Let me see. Oh, of course. Yes, it's been 3 months now. Quite sure of it. Only 3 months? He's quite new here then, too. And to what do you owe your certainty that in that regard, Mr. Garrideb, if I may ask? Well, it was that Selden scoundrel, as it happens. Selden? The convict, you mean? Do Selden and St. Shamspeare have some kind of connection, then? Shamspeare. That convict chap, Selden, passed away in the clink 3 months ago now, you see. Some malady or other. Yes, we've seen the report from the newspaper at the time. Well, it was only 3 days later that the tragedian showed his face. The actor fellow. Really? Yes, I remember quite distinctly. And CzarThwomp's thrust is failing. 'Tis small, this world we inhabit. Prithee, landlord, hear my request. I, the humble Shamspeare, do desire to take thine room on the middle floor, offered elsewhere for rent. Terribly sorry about what and whatnot, but that won't be possible. Already have a lodger on the middle floor. Ground floor room's vacant, though. Nothing can be made out of nothing. Let me request mine will unto thee. Those curls must be muffling your ears. The room on the middle floor's taken. It's ground floor or nothing. Very well. We have an accord. Glad to hear it. Welcome to Briar Road. Lo, a Shamspeare dance to celebrate. Why do I always get the crazies? From what I heard in court today, sounds like the chap was thieving gas. And now I got the gas tubs coming after me. They're all just like bumblebees for some odd reason. And he was 3 months in arrears with rent too. Yes, the fellow is a bally player, all right. Thank you for your candor, Mr. Garrideb. We are most grateful. By way of appreciation, allow me to say 1 or 2 words. Give me my robe, put on my crown. I have immortal lodgings in me. What happened to you? I don't know! Shakespeare, my dear fellows, one of his most famous lines. I wish to divulge my own leanings on the subject, for I have a turn for literature too, you know. Perhaps you could turn your attention to more apt lines then. Okay, present. Okay, Gasmere. Ah, an Altamont Gasmere, yes? Decent fireplace in here, of course, so no need for a gas stove. But there's nothing better than a gas lamp for reading in bed, eh? Actually, Mr. Natsume mentioned that the gas supply in his room kept failing. Ah, yes, that! I had the gas company look into it, but they couldn't find a thing wrong. The chap must have been imagining things. I don't think he was imagining it. The poor man woke up unable to breathe. I think it was put down to ghosts at work or some such in the end. Place must be haunted. Okay, photograph. Mr. Garrideb, could I ask you to look at this photograph? Is that your son who's with you there? No, not at all. He was a lodger here once. Duncan Ross was his name. Duncan Ross? A street photographer happened to be passing us. Sorry, flubbing. A street photographer happened to be passing, so I asked him to take a shot, just for kicks, really. Was he by any chance the lodger before Mr. Natsume? Yes, that's right. Ah, the young gentleman who died in the room in mysterious circumstances. Just what Mr. Moustache was waiting for, one might say. Yes, young Duncan lived in the room at the top of the first flight of stairs, just before the Japanese chap. Would you mind telling us a little more about him? The lodger's death. Yes, Duncan Ross. Young chap was attending art school. Had to work to pay for it, mind. Moved into the middle floor room around a year ago, after that criminal Selden was arrested. Young students are always on the hunt for rooms with a history behind them. A history of cheap rent, maybe? Yes? Yes, well, anyways, it was one morning about a month ago now. Hadn't quite worked out the old trick of watching the gas lamps to see what my lodgers are up to at the time. So sadly, I was rather tardy to discover what had happened. Smell of gas that alerted me it was. Ah yes, synonymous with the smell of death. And then Meterman, he basically was like, lies! That Altamont gas is not the smell of death, it's the smell of life! Called the police right away, of course, and the officer kicked the door off its hinges. But once we got inside, we all fully collapsed. Because of the gas? Yes, room was full of it. No air at all. Stuff must have gone out while the poor chap was sleeping in his bed. So Mr. Ross suffocated to death. Of course, the police gave me a sound ticking off because the gas pipes were so old and all that. Can't tell you how much it set me back to have the lot replaced all over the house. But even after you had all the work done, Mr. Natsume says the same thing. That the stove goes out at night whilst he's asleep in bed. Well, that's the Bali curse. The convict's curse. I've done my duty as a landlord now. Someone's feeling defensive. Ah, that reminds me, actually. Yes? About young Duncan. That night before the poor chap perished, he'd been writing a letter of affection to a young lady. A love letter, you mean? Yes. Where did I put it now? Ah, here it is. Left on my desk. If you excuse me, let me see now. What does it say? To my most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Do you think that we should be reading such a personal piece of correspondence? Hey! I read what I want to read. I am the love god. My dear Miss Rusato, that's precisely why I prefaced my reading with if you'll excuse me. I will not excuse me, Mr. Sholmes. No! Mr. Sholmes, yes! Sadly, he didn't address it, though. So I have no means of delivering the thing. Rather sad, really. I see. That's going to play on my mind. But really, the identity of Mr. Ross's sweetheart has no bearing on the case. I think we should leave well alone. Yes, I suppose you're right. Indeed, the intended recipient's address is missing, however. There is a name attributed to this man's most beautiful and charming sweetheart. Mr. Sholmes, please, I've already had to chastise you about this once. My undying love to you, my colorful darling, olive green. Ah! Oh, olive green? The woman who was plunged into a coma after a knife plunged into her back outside this house 5 days ago? The victim of the last case Soseki-san was in court for, who regained consciousness only yesterday? Is it just chance that her name has come up now? Could it possibly be a mere coincidence? Mr. Naruto, whatever can this mean? Reading personal correspondence can have its merits, you see, Miss Susato. This is why I read everyone's mail in London. I know everyone's mail. I know all the bills, and I know all of those dirty secrets. Okay. Let's move out. Hospital. 22nd February, St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery ward. Mr. Naruto, I've just finished speaking with the doctor. It seems Miss Green is well enough to be discharged at last. This is good news, but hopefully, just before she leaves... Ah! What is it? Miss Green! What was that? She clearly just hit something behind her back.
One moment, I'll be with you in a jiffy. Oh, hello everyone. What are you all doing here? Are you coming to investigate my poisons and plots to poison the water supply? Because I will so do it. The doctors aren't giving me discharge, so I'm just getting my things together.
Miss Green, what were you just doing?
Oh, nothing really. I was just going to take some medicine the doctor prescribed for me, that's all.
Well, we were hoping to have another quick chat with you, if that's all right.
I don't really have anything else to tell you.
All right, she's definitely behaving strangely. Let's see if we can coax something out of her. Examine. This is the bottle that Miss Green was just about to drink from when we arrived. Yes, she looked rather preoccupied, didn't she? Perhaps she was very bitter. Perhaps she's very bitter and I can't stand medicine. I suppose that could be it, and now CzarThwomp's loving your lines, Ryanosuke, even though you are his natural speaking voice. In fact, whenever a doctor prescribes me medicine for a number of days, I always take it all at once. Oh no! Is that why Phoenix is invincible? Because Ryanosuke, he consumed so much medicine at once that basically altered his DNA? Well, if you have to take something, you don't like, it's best to get it all out of the way within one go, isn't it? Oh dear, and I thought it was Miss Green I should be worrying about at the moment. Awarded down in 1. Got an achievement for learning Ryanosuke's dangerous medicine habits. This is the guard Miss Green was looking at so intently before, isn't it? Mr. Naruto, we shouldn't be peeking at a young woman's private effects. Right, I should be peeking for gentlemen's effects only. You mustn't do that either. And maybe you, Mr. Sato, shouldn't be peeking into a young man's mind either. I have a psychic connection with you, Ryunosuke. I am your assistant. It is my job. We have to have that psychic connection. Okay, we checked everything out. Present. Miss Green, we were hoping to ask you about someone. Mr. Duncan Ross, you knew him, didn't you? And I was looking at my clock just now. Oh no, I'm so sorry. The bottle of medicine fell down when she did. Oh, Miss Green, are you all right? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you like that.
No, it's all right. I just wasn't expecting it. But how do you know about Duncan?
Mr. Ross had been writing a letter when he passed away. The landlord found it in his room. It was a very personal letter to you.
It was at the art school. That's why I met Duncan a year ago now. He was working to fund his studies. He dreamt of becoming a professional artist one day.
And the two of you became more romantically involved.
Yes, he painted me like one of his French women. Yes, that's right. We were very much in love. We were engaged to be married, actually. That's why he decided to move into a cheaper room to save money for the wedding.
And that's what led him to Mr. Garrideb's.
Yes, he told me he'd found the worst but cheapest room in the entire East End. And then, 1 month ago, that's when it happened.
We're so terribly sorry, Mrs. Green.
Well, it's all the past now, I suppose.
Poor Miss Green. She looks desperately sad. I was starting to think that's just her look. But now I see that she has every reason to feel the universe is against her. Capital offender article. Miss Green, about this.
Could you hold that there for a moment? Don't move.
Sorry?
No, the aesthetics are wrong.
Is it wrong that I feel so thoroughly rejected? Okay. Looking around. Okay, no, we can't get anything out of that. Okay, let's converse. Hospital discharge. It's wonderful news that you're going to be discharged, Miss Green.
Oh yes, I mean, thank you. Once people are better, the hospital staff don't want them lingering and wasting space. Not people like me, anyways. So I don't think I should keep anyone waiting. I probably should stand around and chat.
She certainly doesn't seem to be in the mood to talk. That's for sure.
I do hope you won't think I'm being rude, but... Would you mind leaving me in peace now? I have to leave the hospital room.
Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to hold you up. Of course, we'll be on our way. Mr. Naruto! And so I spun through the wall. I just crashed it like the Kool-Aid Man. Surely you were not about to leave. That's quite out of the question. What? Mr. Sholmes? I didn't realize you were here. I've always been here. But of course, I was, my dear fellow, watching intently from the shadows as always. Consuming the message from the cabinets. Well, make your presence known next time. Mr. Sholmes, what's this about? Something which occurs to me with some regularity, Miss Husato, is this. Did you know that the human head weighs 8 pounds? That's crazy, right? Why do detectives insist on such an ex post facto modus operandi? Why solve a case after it happened? Because otherwise you don't have a case. Now I'm imagining Sherlock trying to become a psychic. He's trying to become the future. You know that one episode of The Kids Next Door where basically they had it where they had that one kid who basically could supposedly predict when basically kids were going to break the rules before they broke the rules, and the Hallmarks would just go crazy. All because that one kid wanted basically to be the first in line for pizza bagels. Well, basically it's like that. Sherlock is now going to start getting people arrested before crimes even happen. Instead of preventing it before it happens. That is what sets a great detective apart. What do you mean? There's a case waiting to happen under our very noses, Mr. Naruto. So less of a disaster. Let's prevent this case from ever happening. With nothing but careful observation. Alright. All the clues you need are set before you. You only need to look. You cannot fail to see. You can do it, Mr. Naruto. I know you can. Examine. Yes. The rat is dead. That mouse needs to be dead. Look, I didn't notice it before, did you? I think perhaps it drank the medicine that spilled out of the bottle. But that's the bottle that Miss Green was about to drink from when we arrived. You don't think... Ah, I see you've come to appreciate the true nature of this scene. That's of a tragedy about to take place. Yes, I think it's falling into place. Miss Green, the contents of the bottle you had before has spilled out on the floor. And the poor mouse that drank it has sadly died. Ah! I think it's clear that the bottle must have contained a powerful poison.
Now how will I poison the water supply?
Don't worry. I will attend to the mouse presently. Miss Green, were you intending to go the same way as the rodent? To take your own life? Ah! Once we left, you would have put it to your lips again, wouldn't you? And taken the poison.
No!
Miss Green, please! Please talk to us! Okay, let's talk. Suicide. 10 seconds later, and we would have arrived at a very different scene here. It's, in all probability, we would have not enjoyed this most delightful conversation. Of course, perhaps it hasn't been quite so delightful from your perspective, Miss Green.
Actually, in a way, now that everything's out in the open, I feel like a weight has been lifted.
Tell me, how did you acquire that medicine?
I bought it from a little girl for £5, and on the condition that I subscribe to Rand's magazine. Well, with this being a hospital and all, when the doctor comes to examine us in the morning, he always leaves the medicine cabinet open for a while, so I snuck this out while he wasn't looking.
It conspicuously lacks a label. I wonder what it contains.
I'm afraid I don't really know. I thought if I drank it, it might just stop the pain somehow.
Oh, please, Miss Green, don't talk of such things. Well, it seems clear now that it contains poison. Yes, that poor little mouse is proof of that.
Oh no! Oh, it's all my fault! What have I done?
I shall remove this to my office, Miss Green. It's mine now. I take it you have no objection.
No, none.
Okay, can we go to Sherlock's office? Nope. No, we cannot. Okay, I think now would actually be a good time to end things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.